I am Taylor Haywood, and this is my philosophy of education as it relates to the real world. I believe that education is one of the most important parts of a child's development. A proper education will introduce children to many different skills: social, relationship, developmental, educational, and work skills. School should be a place that is safe, fun, yet educational for all students. In elementary school, students may have a hard time leaving home, leaving their comfort zone. I want to make school and education feel like a second home to these children. School should be respected around the world as a safe and fun place where students can come and learn, but also learn and have a fun time doing other things. According to DoSomething.org, as of 2012, 31 primary elementary students worldwide dropped out of school. An additional 32 million had to repeat a grade. In the African continent, however, there are areas with less than 50% literacy among children 18 and under. These are staggering numbers and need to be changed. I believe as a teacher in the profession, part of my job is finding the best way to make each and every student in our class and school feel accepted, safe, and appreciated, at the same time educated. I would work with students and discover ways to help them learn best, not just educate them and hope they keep up, which could possibly lead to them falling behind or having to drop out or repeat another grade. I believe for primary students, to really get a good feel of the class, they need to communicate with their peers and the teacher in a successful way. I believe this is one successful way, by working with each student and coming up with ways that they learn best. For ELL students, I believe first integrating them into the classroom and getting them used to the class is a great way to start their learning process. From there, I would sit down with the ELL student and find where their level is at of learning. I would work with the student every day and sit with them for a few minutes going over material, additional resources, and anything that can help them learn. I would also give them resources that they could take home and practice over the weekends or at night and come back to school ready to learn. Spending time with them and giving them additional materials, I think, is the best way to really help them learn, also by mixing them up with their peers and doing peer tutoring, and really just integrating the ELL student into the class as much as possible. Overall, this is my philosophy so far. How would I incorporate my ELL student into my core subjects? Well, for math, I would have my beginning ELL student use a lot of manipulatives, like videos, images, audiovisual, and physical objects. All of these would be, in some form or another, translated from their language into English. The student could work with their language and then progress and move into English if they felt comfortable. I would use activities that are very simple for them to use and understand and complete assignments. For example, if we were doing a non-uniform measurement lesson for a grade 1 class, I would have images showing how to measure with shoes in grade 1. I would have steps broken down in each image on how to measure and record your shoes when measuring objects. I'd also have peer tutoring, where peers work together in groups and do math, like fraction strips. By working together, the ELL student can learn through their peer and maybe process material better than they can listen just by me. For intermediate students, I would use partner work as a great way to help the ELL student understand the material. Having them doing graphing assignments, patterns, multiplication assignments, any kind of assignments together will only benefit the ELL student. All of these would be great ways to help the student understand the material and not just have to listen to me at a lecture. I could incorporate life skills into math. I would ask them what they know about numbers in real life, like groceries, banking, weight, etc. I would help them create math problems around these kind of scenarios, and hopefully they can understand better. For writing, I would scribe for my ELL beginning student. After I scribe, I would allow them to trace over it while sounding out the words. This could be done through assignments or even simple things like free writing activities. During free writing, I would sit with the ELL beginning student and ask them about experiences in class so far and experiences in Canada. This is what we could write about. If they can't write, then I'd have them draw images and pictures to help represent their story. Once I feel they are progressing, and once they feel they are progressing, we would move on to words. I would start out by making flashcards for the students and have alphabet sight words, where they can go over them alone or with me or peers or family members. For intermediate, I'd also have some ideas. I would have them doing basic sentences, partaking in activities like descriptive writing, writing games, or even having them write a short storybook on their journey to Canada. From there, I would incorporate group work in this activity so students could go and get more peer assistance rather than teacher assistance. I could have students using graphic organizers as well, where they draw a picture and then do small writing exercises to discuss what they drew. This way, they are not overstretching their skills too fast. They can help tell a story through their images and words. These could be using proper sentence structure, conventions, punctuation, and proper writing tools, all part of the BC curriculum. For my beginning ELL student in reading, I would supply a lot of audio tapes to the student that break down the readings or class material that they need to know in order to be successful in a lesson, a unit, or even a mini lesson throughout the day. This would help them understand material that much more. Also, picture books would work great as well. These would still tell the meaning and understanding of the content being discussed. I could relate topics closer to ideas that the ELL student can relate to. This way, they have an easier time understanding the material. For my intermediate ELL, I would be having lots of read out loud reading with either peers or myself, whatever they feel more comfortable with. I could have them read a book to me and then switch over to peers and then from there go by themselves. This way I feel they have an easier time understanding material if they have somebody reading with them, giving feedback and applying outcomes that can help them out and be successful. Also, I would encourage them to use library programs that can help improve their writing and reading. I would help monitor this progress. Things like Leapfrog or interactive storytelling applications, all of these would be ways I could incorporate the student into improving the reading. For music, I would start off for beginners writing music in their own language. Once they understand the music, I would transition slowly into English by writing letters out for them on instruments or cards. This could be done by group work so that the students could sing along at once and that the ELL student won't feel isolated or left out or secluded. For intermediate ELL students, I would have music games that involve movement and vocabulary. This way, it's cross-curricular with language arts, and that the students learn more language skills while enjoying music activities. I would also have students write their own song. This could be like a poetry, or the ELL student writes a song in English, and this would help grow their skill level even more. I would sit down with them, making sure they are okay and on track. For art, I would have my beginning ELL student use lots of visuals in case they cannot understand what I am saying. I would explain in their language through translation devices for them to copy what they see in the images or make their own version of the image. I would also encourage them to explore their own culture through visuals and make artistic works about where they come from to share with us and to keep for their own personal resources. This would be very much in the BC curriculum. For intermediate, my ELL student, I would provide lots of hands-on work along with visual resources and materials. I want the students to listen to my teaching and then create how they interpret the art lesson. They should understand what to do. Being intermediate, they should understand some English. I want them to really get involved with their hands and make art that they know how to do, through lots of visual support and resources. Games would work great. Have students create and partake in games where they need to use artistic skills. This way, they are working on problem-solving skills and artistic improvement. For my beginning ELL student in health class, I would give the ELL student a pre-teaching collection of cards. On these cards would be the rules of the game, how to play the game, how to perform the game or activity, and also visual pictures on these cards. This will show the student how the game is going to go, how the lesson is going to go, and how the class is going to go. This would be done for fitness, outdoor games, and indoor activities. I would also provide lots of rules on these cards. I would have 1 word or 2 words per card that give the direction and the rules of each activity. There'd be lots of clarification on these cards for the students in a simplified way that they can understand. For intermediate, I would write out the instructions and rules for them. I would sit down with the ELL student, making sure they understand what the game or lesson or activity is going to be about, and I would make sure that they understand the routines of the class. Have them get used to the routines, saying out the words every health class. This would make them understand faster. I could ask them to show their cultural games, teach us if they wish, or ask me to teach it if they are shy. For writing out the rules and instructions, this could be done for outdoor, indoor, fitness, any gym game. I would also give cue cards and challenge cards to them to help them stretch their skills, expand, but also be simplified in a way that they understand and have a fun time in fitness and health class. For my beginning ELL student in science class, I would help them understand science topics by doing lots of visual representation for them. Have lots of visual material that they can base their understanding on. I would have words, maybe 2 to 5, under each visual representation of the daily lesson to help them learn what is going on. This would help give them understanding through visual forms and written. I would sit with them and go over their work and help them understand. For activities, I would encourage hands-on learning with visual aids that help complete the hands-on activities step by step. This can be done also with activities like experiments, leaf rubbing, anything that is hands-on and can be done in groups or by yourself. For intermediate, I would give lots of visual/audio aids. I would record my teachings to them to practice and get used to. I would record any written work in their language and English in a form with translation devices that they can understand. I would also give the student key vocab, which would tell them what the main areas and words are of the science unit, and what I want them to focus on for the next couple days before the unit or lesson. I could do lots of fun activities like the magic can, group work, and outdoor activities. For social, my beginning ELL student, I would integrate material for them by really focusing on the culture they come from. I would show similarities between their culture and ours. I would use images and 1 to 3 words from their language and 1 to 3 from the English language. I would tie cultures together by putting these words into the images and hopefully having the student understand the material, the lesson, or whatever's going on in class, but also make the student feel more welcomed. I would also have show and tell artifact days where the students would bring in artifacts that help represent them and their culture. Of course, the ELL student would bring in artifacts from their homeland and their culture and tell us, the class, about where they come from. And Canadian students the same thing. At the end, I would hope to really join all the artifacts together and make them all one big community and try to find links between them. For intermediate students, I would provide lots of visual aids like posters, maps, images, anything that can help the student understand the material they are studying and keep up with the class and really relate to the peers. These visual aids would be simplified and that the student can understand what they are looking at, if need be. I would also partner them up with groups and have ELL students work on research materials with stronger peers in the class who can help explain the lessons and what to do. I'd provide lots of audiobooks as well, where the ELL student could read along with the audiobook slowly from their traditional home language over to English and progress as they move along in the class. I think debates would be a great way for the ELL student to understand the material, have them work with a partner, rehearse, research, memorize material, and explain why it's important. I would also work with them on this area and make sure they are on the right track. Map making and labeling would also be done to help them understand Canada, the country, but also understand where they come from and the distance between the two nations. I really enjoyed this past semester. I liked listening and partaking in all of my peers' different presentations on languages. I liked learning about how lesson plans need to be structured for ELL students. I didn't know much about ELL students before this class. All the resources we were given in this class helped greatly. I learned a lot about ELL students, that they need to be recognized and not just treated like any other student in class. ELL students need time and attention given to them in order for them to comprehend the class and its lessons/material. I also learned that by having ELL students mix with classmates, they can learn a lot and progress in class successfully, just by peer tutoring. Of course, the teacher does need to be there to oversee all of this. However, peer tutoring is a great way to help ELL students get comfortable and learn in class. Overall, I learned that additional resources and any time that is free for the teacher and ELL student to talk is great for their success. I plan to continue to stretch my growth in teaching ELL students in the future and meeting all their needs if they have any and if I have them in my class.